Hello fellow preppers, we are in one of our side pastures today and looking for some goldenrod. This is goldenrod. It does have some toxic lookalikes. I don't know that more than maybe one of them grow in our portion of Appalachia. They're all members of the aster family. But goldenrod is often mistaken for ragweed, and they really do not look anything alike. If you look at the leaves on here compared to ragweed, they just happen to grow together in the same type of spot. There's some ragweed growing around, but none right in this vicinity. But this is what the shape of a leaf looks like on a goldenrod. It's very smooth. It's not hairless, at least on this variety that grows where I live, and it's a very common variety. There's almost 130 different species of goldenrod. So you may have different types where you live, or multiple types. This just happens to be the only type that grows here. And all has the telltale yellow flowers on here. And they tend not to, the stems don't split up until they start to bloom and flower. We have several here that are splitting up, looking more like a bush, kind of like chicory. And it's the super easiest thing to harvest, because the only part of the plants that you use for either medicinal or edible purposes is what grows above ground. You can use the stem, which is used far less frequently than the leaves or the flowers. Let's see if I can get this close enough so you can get a really good look, but not blurring it. There we go. It will have hundreds, if not thousands, of little tinky tiny yellow flowers on it. And that differentiates it from one of the deadly lookalikes, which is wild parsnips. We found wild hemlock on our property, and lots of times wild parsnips grows with it. And they are similar, but you will not have these little yellow flowers. Tinky tiny dainty, 100% yellow, no discoloration or any other attributes in the middle at all. They're totally yellow. It loves full sun, and unlike wild parsnips, they like at least partial shade, if not close to full shade, and tend to grow in areas with a much looser soil and near waterways. But these, in theory, I've read that goldenrod, almost all varieties, like partial shade. That's not been my experience. Everywhere it grows in our property, it's in a horse pasture, and they're all full sun with thick soil, kind of clay about soil down through here. So they're very easy to grow if you want to cultivate them on your own and get seeds. If they don't grow where you live, or you want to stockpile more for your preps. And you can use the seed portion or the flower portion. Now typically I would wait until they're about half in bloom. That's the best time to harvest them, about midsummer. If you wait till, this is almost August now, if you wait through mid-August to September, they're going to be in full bloom. And that does not detract from the medicinal property, but does change the taste if you're going to use them in a tea or in another edible recipe, just to grab extra nutrients to your survival meals. But if you you don't need a knife, you don't need anything. You can just walk over, oh, dropped one, and pluck them off. And you can preserve these little seedlings here. You can dry them, dehydrate them, or just let them air dry on a piece of screen or wired mesh. And you'll have your own seeds to plant for the following year. And you just disperse them onto loosely raked soil. You don't have to dig them down in. You really can't find something that's easier to grow than goldenrod. It has a slightly bitter taste, but not so much as a lot of other wild edibles do, much less bitter than chicory. And it's not quite as sweet as honeysuckle if you combine two of these into a honey. There's a recipe in the article which tells you how to make goldenrod honey, but you can add lilacs to it, you can add a honeysuckle, anything to get you some more nutrients and some added flavoring as a morale booster. But the flowers are all pretty well evenly incised. Position here better. If you go from the base of the palm of your hand, it will go close to halfway up. So that's about what size they all are. Another way to help differentiate and to get yourself familiar with the aroma that goldenrod has, you can pick the leaf, crinkle it and break it in half, and it has almost like you're at the ocean. It has almost a saltwater smell to it. And the taste has a little bit of licorice taste with some varieties. So if you familiarize yourself with what you're 100% sure is a goldenrod, that will help you if you're not sure with some lookalikes, to help teach others and to know what varieties that you have on your property or when you're foraging in the wild. You just need to make sure when you're foraging during a survival situation, if you're on a bug out or you're just trying to get home and you're looking for wild edibles, these are a great one. You can eat them raw. Not going to taste really great, but you can eat the flowers raw and you can eat the leaves raw. That will give you a very good nutrient boost. But these are typically considered a weed, in some states an invasive weed. So more likely than not, anything you would encounter along a roadside or on farms that do use chemical treatments, are going to have all kinds of things sprayed on that you would not want to ingest in your body, or to even use topically and have it to be absorbed into your skin. That's a very easy to grow plant. It's really easy to identify. The lookalikes that are poisonous are distinct enough that if you pay attention to what you're doing, do a little practice and find out what lookalikes or poisonous ones can grow in your area, then you should be able to differentiate just as easily as what you can between wild carrots and yarrow, or between wild carrots and hemlock. They're all similar, but they're distinctly different. It would just be if you were a novice and you were not exactly sure what they look like.